When we change our mindsets, we can change our outcomes. Save our lives from sadness, depression, and anxiety, thus giving us the freedom to live the life we want. Hi, I'm Stuart Haskin, founder of getsafe, and your host of the Movement for Change podcast. Hi, I have Jack today, our relationship guy. We're going to be talking about Valentine's Day and the pressure it puts on us. I think it's a manufactured holiday. I think people just charge a lot of money for flowers. Restaurants get booked. But sometimes it puts emotional pressure on us. And how do we deal with that? Because we feel like, oh, look at everyone else. They're so happy. Let's see what Jack has to say. Well, welcome back, Jack. I missed you.
Good morning.
I look forward to this weekly podcast because I learn a lot for sure. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here. Today is a fantastic day. It's February 14th, and we know what that day is.
Valentine's Day that sends shivers through many a man for going, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, and I would say nowadays it does the same thing for women because we are much more equal in expressing our love. But I agree with you. A lot of men are struggling to make sense out of it and to make sure that they keep their partner safe and loved and cared for and protected, and they want to know that they're loved too. So it's a great holiday.
Yeah. I mean, acknowledge for sure. And here's the other fear that maybe men and women have is the next day at work. So what did your wife or husband do for you? Well, we just fist bumped each other in the hallway, And what Jack offers us is kind of saving that life of loneliness and depression that comes with that. Those are broken hearts are a very powerful thing. So we appreciate your knowledge here.
Yeah, no, this is a kind of an interesting holiday because for people who are in a relationship that are not struggling or feeling close, it's such a place to celebrate. And for people who struggle in their relationship, maybe they had infidelity, maybe there were some addictions, maybe there's some struggle in connecting together. This holiday may become very painful and difficult to process. When we woke up this morning with my wife and we were in the hallway, just like you say, bumped fist, but we just hugged together and we stayed there. And I said, "Happy Valentine," and she said, "Well, Jack, for me, every day is a Valentine."
Oh my gosh!
But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to bring the flowers. I'm still going to bring the flowers.
I know.
And I'm going to still have the card.
Jack made me sad when he says he's bringing flowers. So I got to, because my wife hates flowers. She really does. And so it's usually bringing home a mani-pedi certificate is how the expression for her is. But I'll figure out something.
Every girl likes flowers.
No, I'm telling you, you know how you start watching behaviors because we, what we do as professionals, we read behaviors. And I remember getting flowers and they would sit on this end of this counter and never move. And then it'd be weeks. And then they die and then, do flowers again on another occasion. And they sit in the same place, never move. And I finally said, "Do you like flowers?" "No, not really." Because I've seen people who like flowers, they move them, they put them in sun, they trim the ends, they put a little powder in there and they do this, they change the water out. It's just nothing. So, but it's right. To each his own,
But I also think that maybe flowers by themselves maybe represent the meaning behind the flowers. It's not the actual physical item, but it's a meaning behind them. And the meaning behind them that I love you, I care about you, you're important to me, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. I wouldn't choose anybody else. I mean, there's so many meanings behind the flowers. And I think that's what this holiday is. It's not only talk about love, but also what's behind love, right? And behind love is
I'm looking forward to kind of hearing your end because you deal with this on a daily basis, because I'm that guy who says 2 weeks ago you could have bought a dozen roses for $20. Now the day before or the day of or the week before it's $90 because the flower industry capitalizes on the need,
right? So. And the supply and demand works its magic today, right? But you're right. It's I was driving here and in the news they said that this year it's most expensive Valentine's ever. And then some people are on a budget, and that's the thing. A friend of mine sent me a picture today of the flowers she made out of paper, colored paper, and she gave in a little bouquet, and she gave those flowers to her husband.
Oh, that's cute.
Right. So we can do other things to mitigate the financial burden, which is a real financial burden. Not everybody can afford the flowers and cards are $6 a piece or $10 a piece, and flowers, like you said, 30, 40, $50 to buy. But I think it's a meaning behind the gesture and what you bring to your relationship. And that's the thing. Valentine's Day is a very stressful day for many couples. Yeah. Especially if they had a relationship traumas in their relationship. If they had some maybe fighting day before, or maybe there was some issue with the alcohol addiction or weed addiction or gambling addiction.
Right.
Or if there was some infidelity. Right. So Valentine holiday brings this up and it becomes more acute.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right, and it adds a lot more stress to the couple's relationship, and that's the thing. This is a time to care for each other and protect each other. This day special is to make it so nice and beautiful so that your partner feels safe.
So if because I get what you're saying, it's kind of like you're having issues in your relationship, and all of a sudden this glaring light comes in because it's Valentine's Day, where you're celebrating your relationship, and and it's meaning that you're supposed to be happy and excited about the relationship. And right now you're not in that position. So I get that. I can see this. Yeah, I can see the stress.
Yeah, and also Valentine is a day when people like to do surprises, right? Yeah. Surprise. Right? And surprise, it's an interesting emotion. It's one of those powerful emotions that dysregulates people. Whether it's a positive surprise or negative surprise, people get thrown off their balance, right? So I recommend that everything becomes a little bit more explicit during this holiday. I'm planning a dinner for us tonight, or I'm planning for us to go out, or I'm going to bring some flowers and cards for you because it's so important. To let each other know what you're doing, so there's no surprises.
Yeah.
Right. Some people say, I love surprises, great, but some people get thrown off by surprises. My suggestion,
I can see that.
Yeah, my suggestion is to keep this day as calm as possible and as exciting as possible without surprises. Because
I could see like you're having a little rough time, and so we're kind of thinking, all right, we're not going to do anything for Valentine's Day, and then you come in with the flowers, the cards, the candy, and they're going, all right, surprise, I have nothing for you. Because right. I thought that's where we're at this, right? That's the point I thought we were at right now.
Right, because when you keep things secret, then the other partner doesn't know what's happening, right? They may think that a card would be sufficient. I love you. I tell you I love you every day. We're intimate last night. And of course I love you, right? Yeah, and the other person goes overboard, flowers and chocolates and everything else, and then you end up in almost like inequality, right? Of love. Yeah. I love you more. So it's nice to let each other know what's happening. Don't keep it in the dark. Talk about it, discuss it. Even now, today, as we're talking about, look at your partner and just tell them, this is what I'm planning to do, right? When I do this, pretend that it's a surprise. Okay.
Yeah, because you could be with like an old bitter man like me and saying, this is just a manufactured day that St. Valentine, whoever who he is, created for the card company and the chocolate company. But I get there's a value there in the sense of recognition. It's a reminder, maybe day. I don't know.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying is most of the holidays becomes more commercialized quite a bit, and we get that. But I think if you look at the thought behind the Valentine is to reaffirm the relationship, reaffirm love, and reaffirm the fact that I'm with this person who is so special for me, and I don't want to be with anyone else except you. I think if we take that spirit during this holiday, it will bring different meaning to our relationship. And it's a renewal. For me, the Valentine is a renewal date, when you renew your commitment to each other, when you renew your love to each other, and you reassure the other person that they're still the ones you love and they're still for you. And being financially savvy in this during this type of holiday is also important. If there's a low resources, you can still let your partner know how much you love them without spending $100-$200 on it.
All right. A lot of us on a budget like that, Mr. Jack. There are ways around using, financial expenditures on this day of love. I mean, it could be a walk on the beach, really. It just could be a moment of reconnection. Kind of what you said earlier, when we were talking before it started, that you had a moment in the hallway, it was a hug, which is nice,
Yeah, and it was very nice, even though I already had in my mind planning that I'm going to bring something. And when she said that, it was very, very sweet. And I told my wife, I said, well, I'm still bringing flowers and a card for you. So that's coming when I come from work.
Some people said, I could have saved on flowers and a card because I got this hug here. But no, you're doing the right thing.
We're still going to do this, but there are a couple of stores that have inexpensive roses, and they're still going to stay for 5-6 days.
Yeah,
it's going to be okay. But I want to bring something in the days like this. How you start your day is really important. And how do you maintain that connection throughout the day with your partner? It's almost like we're going a little bit over. We need to go a little bit overboard and send nice messages, put some emojis with the smile and hearts and exclamation sign and 100% sign, something to let you know that, and continuously reinforcing your partner, letting them know that they're not alone. And like you said, a lot of people on the Valentine Day are alone. They don't have a partner. They don't have anybody to turn to and feel love and feel care. And that's a big struggle. And those people also need to find a way to tend to themselves in this day and not to be left out.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, very good point for sure, because it is a day that reminds you, I'm single. I remember that. I think there's a lot of anti-Valentine's Day parties as well that people are they're having for singles, that don't have a Valentine's in their life. So, I mean, it's the way to go.
And from the evolutionary part of our lives, as humans, we kind of long for connection, and being alone is very uncomfortable and unsafe place for a long period of times. So we want to find somebody, and there's many people who do want to find a partner but don't know how, or maybe they're afraid. Maybe they had breakups that was so difficult that they don't want to get into a relationship again. And they worry if they get into a relationship again, they're going to get hurt again. So maybe the word for people in this situation is there is hope. There is hope, and there is a partner for you that will care and love you and protect you. And to be in love, that means risking your emotions and risking your vulnerability and risking being hurt. And maybe the hope is that you'll find the person who will want to be for the rest of your life and their lives.
Yeah, and I really agree with that, because there's, I look at a couple things. I have a friends, they're a great couple and never had kids. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think about it because I have a couple of kids, and part of me thinks they'll never experience that love, but they'll never experience that pain or fear if they're hurt or they're sick or something like that. And it's kind of same with relationships. You don't go for it. You're not going to get hurt, but you may not have the happiness either that maybe you need. And those are the things those are kind of choices, because you see people go, I'd rather just be alone. I'm fine. But they're not alone people. They're not built because they've historically had relationships, but they feel like they don't want to go through any more pain. And that's kind of a sad position to be in the sense of just going, it's part of life, you heal and you
yeah, and it's normal that if you have a relationship distressed with another partner and then you separate, it's normal to be cautious. It's normal to be worried and concerned. And what if it's not going to work out? What if I'm going to get hurt again? And a lot of people sometimes say, I keep finding partners that are not good for me, and they get stuck in this place where they find a partner, they break up, they find a partner, they break up, and they can't figure out why they're attracting certain type of partner that they can connect to. So a lot of times, if you had a difficult breakup, if you and separation, and it's good time to reflect and work on yourself and learn how to form a relationship and how to protect relationship from the beginning. Well, most of the people get into a relationship and they think everything is going to be great until the first fight.
Are you searching for a safe and supportive place to strengthen your relationships and improve your mental well-being? Well, look no further than Couples TLC Counseling, your trusted community mental health clinic right here in Fullerton, California. At Couples TLC Counseling, we believe that every individual, couple, and family deserves access to quality mental health services. As a nonprofit clinic, we are committed to providing affordable and compassionate care to our community. With our team of dedicated associate therapists, we offer a wide range of services, both online and in person. Whether you're facing challenges as an individual, struggling within your partnership, or navigating complex family dynamics, we're here to help. Our clinic has 7 therapy rooms, each designed to create a warm and welcoming environment for healing and growth. Our experienced associate therapists will work closely with you to identify your unique needs and tailor a treatment plan that best suits you and your loved ones. Couples TLC Counseling also offers support groups specialized for those who identify as male, female, or non-binary, providing a safe space to connect, share, and grow. Additionally, our parenting classes and specialty workshops empower you with practical tools to navigate the challenges of parenthood and enhance family relationships. Don't wait any longer to prioritize your mental health and relationships. Take the first step toward a brighter future by contacting Couples TLC Counseling today. Visit our website at couplestlc.org. That's couplestlc.org to learn more about our services and schedule your appointment. Couples TLC Counseling, where healing and connection thrive. Couples TLC Counseling does not provide emergency services. If you or someone you know is in immediate danger, please contact emergency services or go to the nearest emergency room.
Everybody has the right to be safe.
Voice, body, spirit.
At GetSafe, we believe in 4 keys of leadership: empathy, integrity, inclusion, and community. That last piece, the community, is essential for us here at GetSafe. We believe in taking care of the community. If we care for something, nurture it, we become part of its growth. GetSafe is an agency that empowers a wide variety of groups, clubs, agencies, workplaces, all that make up our community that we are proud of. When we change our community mindset, we can positively change our outcomes towards a safer future with one another.
But learning what you can do and what your responsibility is in the relationship to protect your relationship and to keep it safe, that's going to be part of your work before you get into a relationship.
And I think it's also, separating too, because if I'm the guy who said, oh, I don't want to be involved, all right, we'll do it again. And then all of a sudden we get in a fight. Here we go again. And we're comparing it to our past relationships, even though this is a new person and the fight may not even be that bad or what you're thinking,
Right.
but you catastrophize it in your head and it becomes terrible. So how do you work with that in your therapy? How do you get people to disconnect from the past so they can live the future?
It's such an interesting question, because as we get together with another person, the other person lives in the shadow of our past, right? So whatever shadows we have from the past, all the hurts we have, the other person lives in that shadow. In the same way, they live in your shadow. They create a shadow for you. So you get a new relationship and everything feels right, but the vulnerabilities and sensitivities are still there. And if those sensitivities get touched or triggered, then you may experience the same distress as you had in the previous relationships. And the best way to do is to heal the past in the present. We can't heal past in the past, because once it's past, it's gone. But if it's still a point where you get triggered or you get activated, then we can work on it in the present. And the interesting part is that relationship traumas that occurred in the past, they're best healed in the relationship. It's very difficult to heal relationship traumas if you're working with your own therapist by yourself. So it's almost impossible. So when you have a new partner, he will be the person who will help you to heal the past traumas, and work with them, and you need to clearly understand what's triggering you, and be able to share it, and be able to have a partner who will understand what he needs to do to keep you safe. Because if you have a physical pain, for example, your arm is hurting, right? And you tell your partner, my arm is hurting, they'll be careful around you. They'll be careful not to touch your arm. They will protect it. They'll go on this side, make sure that you don't bump into something, right? But the same thing on the emotional side. If you have a pain, emotional pain from previous relationship, and your partner is aware of it, they need to protect that pain. They need to protect that place and not to accidentally trigger it. But they won't know that until you share.
Yeah.
They won't know that they need to help you with this until there's a clear understanding. This is a really difficult place for you. And then when this happens, you need some help.
Well, I was thinking in just an example would be, I was at a partner, my partner always was out, never called me, never let me know when they were coming home. Who knows what they were doing? So that breaks up, but for whatever reason, and then you get in a new relationship, and that first time that partner, maybe they got sidetracked, their phone died, but your escalation is much higher probably because all of a sudden this is happening to you, and those are the things that I think you have to manage yourself. And then also the partner will know, oh boy, this is kind of a trigger for them. Is that, would that be something they would know also? And it's obviously who's escalating, they have to learn to manage themselves as well. But
and of course the self-soothing, or ability for you to calm yourself down and be able to talk to your partner about your distress without escalation is a big skill that people need to learn. But in the moment the partner doesn't show up, in your example, they got sidetracked and they didn't call back home and came late, and the other person is worried, okay, here we go again. The same thing I had in the previous relationship is happening now. That's a time to talk to your partner and say, this is really scary for me. It's really scary for me when you don't let me know, because all the memories coming back, right? And the other partner can reassure them and say, I know this is so tough for you, I get it. And I want to reassure you that I want to keep you safe. And also now have a mental note and say, my partner needs my support. So if I go out or if I do something, I need to text her maybe and say, honey, I'm still here. I'll be home at this time. And if you're delaying coming home, then just a small text. Technology now allows us to do things we couldn't do before.
Right.
It allows us to constantly keep your partner in the loop. For example, me and my wife, we use Find Friends and we connect it all the time. So if I go someplace, she knows exactly where I am. And if she's around me, she may even text me and say, hey, I know you're here. I'm a couple of blocks away. Do you want to get some coffee or some tea, right? On this. And having this technology actually helped us a lot. It keeps safety. It feels comfortable and safe, right? And then now my kids connected to me. They want to know where I am. So I said, okay, connect. Now they know everywhere I am. And now grandkids are connected. So, and now my niece said, well, I want to be part of this. I want to know where everyone is. Yeah, and now we have this hive, right? That everybody knows where everybody is. And the overall stress for everybody in the family just goes down, right? So to know your partner's sensitive areas that were developed in the past relationships helps you to keep your partner safe. And in a way helps you to be closer to your partner. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's what I love, because Jack has been married for a very long time, and so I like to, I look at him as kind of, this relationship expert, because he sees hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of people who have issues and working through them. But he doesn't just teach it, talk about it, he lives it, because you have been, how long? 42 years, you said?
42 years this year.
Yes. I told him 22 years is a record, but 42 years, I don't even know what that is. That's just amazing. It's a Super Bowl of relationships. But
well, and I want to kind of bring it up that it doesn't mean that every year was a fairy tale year. Right? We went through some tough patches, and it happens with every relationship. But one thing that we agreed when we got married is that divorce is not something we're looking at.
Right.
Whenever there's a difficulty, our goal is to work through this and then to find a way to protect our relationship. I think that common view that relationship is something we both need to protect, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have a nest egg, right? Something you protect that, right? Make sure that your family is financially safe. Well,
Right.
the same thing in the relationship. It's an entity by itself. We can't just say it's Jack and Lola, right? No, there's a relationship that holds us together. That's a glue that keeps us together.
Right.
And that relationship, if it's unattended to and it's not protected, eventually it will become smaller. Just like if you take too many withdrawals from that relationship and don't put anything in.
And I really, really appreciate you saying that, because nowadays with social media, everyone looks super happy and content. And then 2 weeks later, we're getting divorced. What? You were literally just on this amazing cruise and hanging out. So saying that is truth, and it's the reality of life. There is no perfect life out there. There's no perfect relationship. Everyone has their ups and downs because we're human beings. We're just different, and how you learn to manage it, which I think you and your wife have really conquered, in the sense of knowing that we have to check in, we have to do this, and like you said, it's still a work in progress. It's always, relationships are just that. But again, I appreciate saying that, because on the outside, oh my gosh, they're so happy, 42 years, it's amazing. It's probably it's been a fairy tale ride the whole way. But you being honest, it's just fair. And
there's a roller coasters in every relationship, and the important part is, what is your goal in mind together? And the goal probably is, from the beginning, is to have this tender, loving, caring, and protective relationship that you can keep for the rest of your life. One of the clients I had a long time ago said, Jack, what I'm looking for in our relationship is delight.
yeah,
I just want to have this delight where we come together and we feel light with each other, and have this feeling of connection. And I think that applies to many relationships that people want. They don't want that heavy, thick, difficult relationship where you struggle every single day. And when the struggles come, I want people to know that there's help. A lot of people are afraid to go to a therapist or think they're not going to help them. But people, we know what relationship looks like. The therapists train a lot to make sure that we can protect and support your relationship, and especially people who are focusing in modalities like emotionally focused approach in the relationship, or maybe integrative behavioral couples therapy. These approaches have proven to help. In fact, the emotionally focused therapy approach, 75% of the couples report complete recovery from their distress, and they go on and live their life, right? And 90% of the couples report significant improvement in their relationships. What's also nice about couples therapy is it's not a long-term therapy. Most of it is between 12 to maybe 18, 20 weeks. If there are some circumstances where there's some addiction or maybe infidelity, that takes a little bit longer. But most of the couple therapy is not a long-term process. And many couples that I work, they go on and live their life on their own, because they have learned and they understand what needs to be done. And once in a while, if they get stuck, they call me and we have one session and they're back to their own life.
Kind of like a tune-up. Is it so to manage the thought of expectations of this? Is it a once a week kind of thing? Is it a twice a week, or is it?
Well, typically the way it works, you meet initially once a week, but at some point, as things get better and fights decrease and you're able to communicate and connect with each other, you jump to once every 2 weeks, and then once every 3 weeks, and then the therapy is completed.
Okay. Well, we'll go back to wrap on Valentine's Day. 3 things real quick for our male and female viewers.
So probably the Valentine's Day is reaffirm your commitment to each other. That's number one. Number two, no surprises if you can. Keep everybody in the loop, your partner, your friends, whoever you is close to you. And number three, realize that there is help. Don't give up on your relationship.
Maybe just give them how to reach you at your center that you are running.
You can always reach us at couples TLC, Tender Loving Care, couplestlc.com. We have all the information there.
Very, very catchy title. All right. Well, thank you very much for helping us change mindsets, to change outcomes, and in turn save lives of loneliness and anxiety. Thank you, Jack, and I look forward to the next one.
Thank you, Stuart. It was great. Great talking to you today.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you were able to take something away. But also, if you feel anxiety or sadness during this time of a love holiday that was manufactured, please check the links below for resources to reach out. You're important. And whether you're with someone or not, you personally are an important person. Thank you again, and be safe. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Movement for Change. We hope that our discussion has left you with new perspectives and insights that can help you change mindsets and save lives. Please visit us at getsafeusa.com for resources, trainings, and if there's a topic you want to hear about or you have questions, please email us at info@getsafeusa.com. Together, we can make the change we want to see.